Hello, everyone. Hi. Wow, you're so quiet. Do you want to clap? Hi, welcome to Queer Pride Groningen 2022. So, we're your moderators. I'm Helene. This is Colin. We will be guiding you through today. We have a sign language interpreter over here, Sylvia, from Clubhouse for Dover. So please be close to Sylvia if you want sign language interpretation. So we want to welcome you to Queer Pride Groningen 2022. This is the, I think, 4th year in a row that we're doing this. So give it up for all the organizers. Okay, we'll have some speeches, we'll have some performances, we'll have chants in between to get your energy going. There's also chant sheets going around with some of the safety team members. They have high visibility vests. And yeah, after we march, we will come back here and there will be some closing speeches, so don't go anywhere. And there will be a little kind of market fair with a few organizations, how you can get involved afterwards. And there's a picnic, so stay around. Don't leave after the march. Oh, one final thing for me. The middle part right in front of me is supposed to be for people who want to sit down, take a seat. There's crosses, please, try to stick to those. And the sides are standing areas. The back side, at the very back, is quiet, or more quiet, so be aware of this.
So first of all, I want to go over a few remarks. Since COVID-19 still exists, we want to ask everyone to be mindful of this. So please take care to take distance from each other, and we would also like to encourage you to wear a face mask. You can get those from the safety team. The safety team members are recognizable by the yellow vests. They carry face masks, but also other things you may need, like earplugs or water. If you need anything, if anything is wrong and you need help, then you can talk to the safety team members and they will help you out. So that's what you have to know about the safety today. And for the rest, I want to ask, are you excited to get started? Let me hear you one more time. We're going to start with a speech. This one is by Michaela and Emma. This is the QPG speech on behalf of the QPG team. This is going to be read in both Dutch and English. Let me hear you for Emma and Michaela.
Hello, my name is Michaela, and we will be going paragraph by paragraph, and I will be doing the English parts. And Emma will be doing the Dutch parts. The world has been a pretty bleak place lately. Being well into the 3rd year of the pandemic, we've had ample opportunity to observe just how hard solidarity is to put into practice, and how our government, our employers, and other institutions value profit over the lives and well-being of people. Being queer, the isolation during this time has often meant being cut off from those who see us and accept us for who we are. For many of the most vulnerable among us, this has been a time of re-examining their relationship to the queer community, as they had to watch those they considered allies move on with their lives while the pandemic continued.
De wereld is de laatste tijd een grimmige plaats. Ruim in het 3e jaar van de pandemie ondertussen hebben we pijnlijk moeten ervaren hoe moeilijk het is om solidariteit in de praktijk te brengen. En hoe erg onze overheid, onze werkgevers en andere instituties winst belangrijker vinden dan de levens en het welzijn van mensen. Als queer personen betekent de isolatie van deze periode vaak dat we afgesloten zijn van de mensen die ons zien en accepteren zoals we echt zijn. Voor veel van de meest kwetsbaren onder ons is het een tijd geweest voor het herevalueren van hun relatie met de queer gemeenschap. Omdat ze toe hebben moeten kijken, terwijl de mensen die zij als allies beschouwden verder gingen met hun leven als normaal, terwijl de pandemie voortduurde.
In recent months, many of us have been deeply shaken by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, by the suffering and the struggle of the Ukrainian people, as well as by the blatant racism of our politicians, journalists, colleagues, and neighbors as they differentiate between white and non-white refugees, as if not every victim of military aggression was equally deserving of our compassion and solidarity.
In de afgelopen maanden zijn veel van ons diep geschokt door de Russische invasie van Oekraïne, door het lijden en de strijd van het Oekraïense volk en ook door het onverbloemde racisme van onze politici, journalisten, collega's en buren, die het onderscheid maken tussen witte en niet-witte vluchtelingen, alsof niet ieder slachtoffer van militaire agressie een gelijk recht heeft op onze compassie en solidariteit.
As our social media feeds are overflowing with bad news, it is easy to let despair sink in. Queer people around the globe continue to struggle with the fallout from colonialist and racist models of gender, sex, and sexuality. Every day seems to bring new backlashes to queer visibility, with misogynist and anti-LGBTQIA+ legislation and policies being proposed and rolled out in Europe and the US. But Pride can serve as our reminder that we don't stand alone, that there is power in persistence. Queer people have persevered in the heart of hardship and adversity for centuries and have continued to fight and thrive against all odds. It is because we are going through a tough time, because we are not safe yet, that we want to take this Pride as a moment to celebrate and uplift one another.
Het is makkelijk om wanhopig te worden nu onze sociale media overstromen met slecht nieuws. Queer personen over de hele wereld worstelen nog steeds met de gevolgen van koloniale en racistische modellen van gender, seks en seksualiteit. En het lijkt alsof iedere dag nieuwe terugslagen voor queer zichtbaarheid met zich meebrengt. Met seksistische en anti-LGBTQIA+ wetgevingen die in Europa en de VS ingesteld worden. Maar Pride kan ons eraan herinneren dat we niet alleen staan en dat er kracht ligt in vasthoudendheid. Queer personen hebben al eeuwenlang het hoofd geboden aan tegenslagen en ontberingen en gaan nu ook, ondanks alles, door met leven en met strijden.
Many Pride events have at this point detached from their radical history and focus more on making queerness respectable in the eyes of straight white audiences than on creating a space for all of us. In Pride events across the Netherlands, we have witnessed racial profiling, police intimidation, commercialization, and right-wing groups leading marches, making those events unsafe for the most vulnerable among us. Queer Pride Groningen is a response to those developments. Founded and maintained by queer activists of Groningen, we try to create an empowering pride that avoids committing harm by following 4 principles. 1. Pride is a protest before all else. 2. No corporate sponsorships, no support for pinkwashing. 3. Be as inclusive as possible. And 4. A pride by and for the local queer community. To us, celebrating Pride is all about finding strength in each other for the challenges we face throughout the year.
Veel Pride-evenementen zijn tegenwoordig losgeraakt van hun radicale geschiedenis en richten zich er meer op om queerheid acceptabel te maken in de ogen van een wit heteroseksueel publiek, meer dan om een veilige ruimte te maken voor ons allemaal. Bij Pride-evenementen door heel Nederland zijn we getuigen geweest van etnische profileren, politie-intimidatie, commercialisatie en rechtse groeperingen die marsen leiden, waardoor deze evenementen onveilig zijn voor de meest gemarginaliseerde personen in onze gemeenschap. Queer Pride Groningen is een reactie op deze ontwikkelingen. De organisatie is opgezet en gerund door Groningse queer activisten en we proberen een Pride te organiseren die geen schade aanricht door het volgen van 4 principes. 1. Pride is een protest boven alles. 2. Geen commerciële sponsoring en geen steun voor pinkwashing. 3. We maken Pride zo inclusief mogelijk. En 4. Pride wordt georganiseerd door en voor de lokale gemeenschap. Voor ons gaat het vieren van Pride erover om in elkaar de kracht te vinden om de uitdagingen die we tegenkomen het hele jaar doorheen door te staan.
Together, we want to build a community that strives to make the world safer for all of us. A community where we give each other the space to heal from queerphobia and trauma, to revel in our differences. A community that when met with ignorance, bigotry and hate, does not give up, but joins forces and fights back. Let's remember that even in hard times, we are not alone. That our power comes from radical self-love and solidarity. Today, we celebrate the strength and the joy we find in each other. Tomorrow, we carry that joy into our fights against exploitation, discrimination, and hate everywhere.
Samen willen wij een gemeenschap opbouwen die ernaar streeft om de wereld veiliger te maken voor ons allemaal. Een gemeenschap waar we elkaar de ruimte geven om te herstellen van queerfobie en trauma en om te genieten van onze verschillen. Een gemeenschap die niet opgeeft wanneer deze in aanraking komt met onwetendheid, onverdraagzaamheid en haat, maar samenwerkt en terugvecht. Vandaag vieren we de kracht en de vreugde die we in elkaar kunnen vinden. En morgen dragen we die vreugde mee in onze strijd tegen uitbuiting, discriminatie en haat.
Let's give it up one more time for the Queer Pride Groningen speech. Woo! Okay, next up we have Colin, actually another moderator, giving a speech. Colin is a community member and part of Queer Pride Groningen, and I want you all to be very loud now. Let's welcome Colin on the stage. Woo!
Hello everyone. I want to start out by saying that I'm very honored to be here. 1 year ago I stood in the same place when I attended my first Pride ever. But I almost hadn't been there because back then I was at the front steps of my discovery as myself as a trans man, and I was horrified to take up any space. I believed I didn't deserve to be there, that I was not trans enough. Back then I did not know anyone in this city, and the safe cloak of anonymity gave me the courage I needed to stand here. If nobody in the crowd knew who I was, and even the organizers didn't know much more about me than my name, then who could possibly judge me? And even then I went to great lengths to not draw any attention. Look masculine, look normal, be respectable. And this year everything is different. I've had the honor to work together with the amazing people of Queer Pride Groningen, and the crowd that I was a stranger to a year ago is now filled with so many people that I love dearly. But with my beloved anonymity gone, my fearful desire to be normal came back with full force. This morning I stood in front of the mirror for way too long. Can I wear this? Will people see me as less? Will they still respect me? Will they judge me in silence? And although I cannot answer these questions, I realized that having all these fears meant that I had to do it anyway. Because if I can't be myself at Pride, then where can I possibly be? All of this made me think about what is normal. There is so much pressure around us to always be normal, both from outside and inside the community. Okay, you can be gay, but don't shove it down our throats. Okay, you can be trans, but only if you fit our expectations of what that looks like. You can be queer, sure, but not too much. It can be easy to blame non-conforming people for our oppression. Nobody is going to respect us if you dress like this, but we must be careful with statements like that. The very wise black lesbian activist Audre Lorde said that the master's tools cannot dismantle the master's house, and we must learn from this. We cannot escape our oppression by following our oppressor's demands. We can never exclude enough people for us to be acceptable to them, and we should not want to try. Now I want to ask you all, will we throw each other overboard to appeal to our oppressors? Will we contort ourselves to fit their demands? Will we fight for our rights? Will we fight for each other? Listen to me and remember this. Being queer is normal. Being queer is natural. You do not have to look cis to deserve respect. You do not have to look straight to deserve respect. You do not have to be quiet or complacent. None of us are free until all of us are. Again and again, we must resist those who want us to hate each other, who want us to blame other queer people for our oppression, so that our true oppressors bear no guilt. Fight the urge to pick an easy scapegoat. Fight the fear of our differences. And fight for each other every single day. Let me hear you. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin, for sharing. Can we give it up one more time for Colin? Okay, next up we have Denisa. Denisa is a queer poet and artist, and she has been doing poetry and her art for 2 years. Welcome on stage. Woo!
Hello, Groningen! This is too high for me, but it's okay. I always wanted to do that. Okay, so the first poem, it's a bit more sad because it's about the... Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's okay. The first poem, it's a bit more sad. Because, okay, no laughing now. Concentrate, please. It's a bit more sad because it's about the events in Ukraine, sadly. But it starts with that, but it ends a bit in more of a positive note of how we all got together and we all did our best to help. You will notice when the poem is done because I'm gonna make a very awkward pause, so you'll notice that. Okay, we begin. Concentrate. The morning bird sang way too loud. They felt its wings vibrate. The wind blew strong, my friend's house fell, and we were all so hopeless. We erased borders in fear. The weak me turned to strong us. We called our folks to action. We took the power back. So let's unite now through acceptance. We don't shoot guns, we shoot with colors. The world is gray. We change it for us now that we have each other. Awkward pause. Awkward pause. Now it's over. Yeah. The next two ones are very cheesy because they're for my girlfriend, so... Hell yeah. Nice. Okay. I was just atoms, scattered in the universes of people who felt like chemists. You robbed them and built me, your galaxy. Listen to my planet sing in chants of art and poetry. With you, my physics can cheat. I could burn less than all the stars, but when I want to paint the sky and borders contour all my moves, you make the universe expand to make me limitless. Woo! She's crying, everybody, she's crying. Okay, the next one is a bit long, but it's still very cheesy, so buckle up. In your universe, I am human, limited and flawed, powered by your infinity. Curious to discover and grow as you expand. You showed me your stars, I dusted your planets. You made your suns burn in destruction, but it only made the cold moons shine warmer. You found darkness in your shadows. I found room for more stars to be born in. With your cold Plutos and your warm Earths, with your bright comets and your pitch black voids, we grow, you grow. In complexity, there is light. Light for my mortal mind and light for your eternal soul. Your darkness is bright for the curious mind. Woo! Thank you, Groningen!
Let me hear you one more time for Denisa. Next up, we have another speech, this time by Nick, who is an activist, community member, and a member of the organization Asterisk. That's an organization of trans people and allies that work together towards making policies more inclusive, furthering political and medical autonomy, and creating visibility for gender non-conforming folks. Let me hear you for Nick.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here again. If my voice breaks, I'm very sorry, I'm on testosterone. So hello. This speech starts a bit dark, but I promise I'm going somewhere with this. When I think of queer joy, I think of my younger self. Growing up as a trans queer man, my first contact with queer stories was that of pain and sorrow. I saw gay men suffering for their love and heard my grandpa mutter gay slurs at an effeminate man on the news. The first stories I heard of transness were those of trans women attacked in Brazil. I thought being trans and queer was shameful and weird, that if I accepted that part of me, I would be destined to a life of sadness. I hid that part of myself so deeply that even after I knew I was trans, I still didn't let myself explore it for an entire year. Then I came out, and yes, there were sorrow and pain in those moments, but there was also joy and happiness. Wearing clothes that made me feel like me, my friends saying my name, falling in love with someone who loved me for who I am, which honestly I did not think was possible. Going to Pride, wearing my favorite shirt for the first time after top surgery. That joy guided me. When everything seemed hopeless, it gave me hope in a better tomorrow. I now know joy is an integral part of queerness, and yet I had no idea it existed until I experienced it. Things have changed since I was a teenager, some for better, other for worse. Still, growing up queer in our society is traumatic for many, if not all of us. We need to heal ourselves and fight to lessen the pain of the future generations. I do not want a single kid to think their queerness is a curse. I don't want them to see trans people in the media only when we are victims. We must fight for the joyful and dignified future of queer people around the world. I believe queer joy is an essential part of this fight, and I hope those who need it most can see you all here today. Loud and proud and happy, not despite your queerness, but because of it. Last year, I had the honor of organizing a Trans-Zorgnu protest in Groningen, along with amazing activists, some of whom organize Queer Pride as well. This protest dealt with powerful grief and anger of our community. We shouted our demands and cried at the stories of our speakers. In the middle of this experience, I was overwhelmed by the amount of joy I saw. The people who came to our protest stayed long after it ended. They talked and laughed together. I saw strangers connect. We sat at a cafe and bonded over our experiences. As I was going home, I saw another group of people from the protest sharing a meal at a huge table, laughing together. That day, I cycled as if I had wings. Experiencing all this happiness with my community was healing that scared, ashamed child I carry with me. We need to honor and share joy for the sake of ourselves and our community. Queer joy is transformative and revolutionary. It can heal the wounds our oppression puts on us and keep us going when going gets hard. I hope we can all prioritize queer joy and happiness a little bit more. As for me, if hearing this speech helps one scared kid believe in a happier tomorrow, that is enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick, for the beautiful speech. Next up, we have music. We have an artist named Iris who's going to play some music for us. Iris is a musician who performs original songs since she was 15 years old. She also co-founded a queer art platform called The Pink Cube. Give it up for Iris.
Okay, let's see. That was it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's all be mindful of that. Hey, everyone. So I don't have any cool poses that I can do because I have the guitar and all, so I can't steal that for you, unfortunately. But I do want to play 2 songs for you, and the first one is finally getting its intended audience, which is very nice because it's from before I came out, and it's a song about sex. And I was always scared to play it, sort of, because I was never in front of the right people, I guess, and now it is. So thank you so much for being here. The way that your love has got me at a loss of air. When I look in your eyes as I'm playing with your hair. Your daring smile sends thrills to my nervous soul. Our shadows are silently playing their own wall. On the wall, in the pillow talk waves, where your sleepy lips fascinate. I didn't know love looked so good in a pink Floyd tee, with the triangle seductively waiting below the sheets. It feels like you're writing a novel upon my skin. Lip-shaped red covers my shoulders with a scent of gin. My irrational thoughts disappear when I 'cause they follow the trail of my hands. And the pillow talk aways where your sleepy lips fascinate. I didn't know love looked so good in a pink Floyd tee, with the triangle seductively waiting below the sheet. The way that your love has got me at a loss of air. Thank you. So the next song, I was fortunate enough last year to play her as well, and it was amazing, very cool, a bit warmer. So are you all still warm enough? Do we need to do some jumping later? Yeah? Okay. And this song, I really wanted to play it here on the Grote Markt because I wrote it about a painting that is sort of set here by George Martens. It's called Gossip in the Rain. And it's just a very absurd song that I really love a lot, that I sort of made this absurd circle of buzz is the name, about like these three witch sort of persons, and I just love the idea, and I feel like a lot of us can also relate to the idea of like just these random stories going around you about you or about people like you. So I really wanted to play it here, and it's called The Circle of Buzz. Have you seen the ladies in the circle of buzz? They know every little thing there is to know about us, and they've been around as long as the city itself. They say Crazy Betty with her 2 different socks, well, she always seems to talk to her collection of rocks. And Tiny Timmy from down the street, he put his finger up his nose so high he now cannot think anymore. Do you wanna know what they heard about you? They'll tell you a secret if you tell them to, and they don't even care if you tell the truth. In the circle of buzz, they bring umbrellas on the rainy days so the water won't wash the rumors away. This holy trinity with an infinity of knowledge, they will suck you in once you begin. Oh no, do you wanna know what they heard about you? They'll tell you a secret if you tell them to, and they don't even care if you tell the truth. In the circle of buzz, you. They'll tell you a secret if you tell them to, but don't expect them to tell you the truth. In the circle of buzz. Thank you so much. Have a lovely afternoon, and thank you for our interpreter and for the organization today.
Thank you again, Iris. Let's give a round of applause. That was so good. Okay, next up we have the International Socialists Groningen. Woo! So the speaker will be Momo, who is a member of International Socialists Groningen. So let's give it up for Momo. Woo!
Hello everyone, my name is Momo and I am part of the International Socialists in Groningen. We are a revolutionary socialist organization in the Netherlands. Today I will be speaking about queer pride from a radical perspective, about capitalism, fascism, imperialism, and pinkwashing. Queer Pride Groningen was the first pride I had been to in my life existing as a black person, as a black queer person. I was happy to see Pride, which was organized by a local grassroots organization that focused on what Pride is really supposed to be all about. A protest, not a party. A protest that was started by two trans women who were both black and Latina, Marsha P. Johnson and Silva Rivera, that came from the working class, who were aware of their material conditions existing in a capitalist society in the 60s. Here, both Rivera and Johnson had organized together with other working-class LGBTQ+ people to recognize the importance of queer revolutionary action against the capitalist extraction of value through the traditional nuclear family and the gender division of labor. Later on, Rivera was kicked out by the white liberal LGBTQ+ for her anti-capitalist beliefs and excluded transgender people from the movement. Like the revolutionaries before us, we still face the same problem today. Like how Pride has lost its radical roots, LGBTQ+ activism has now focused on assimilation, and corporations, fascists, right-wingers, and government agencies have entered into Pride to now dictate us on our own queerness and relationships, to exclude the working class, black, brown, disabled, fat, chronically ill, intersex, queer sex workers from Prides, and other people from LGBTQ+ spaces who have constantly been erased and have always represented our communities in the time of crisis. We have seen how the world has changed over the last years, with the pandemic, the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, the current inflation crisis, and the rise of fascism that have impacted us as a community. Here in the Netherlands and many other Western countries claim to always speak of tolerance and progressiveness, and use queer assimilation and pink capitalism to market themselves as LGBTQ+ friendly, while they continue to ignore the ongoing treatment of the community, especially transgender people, by the Dutch state, who were forced to be sterilized between 1985 to 2014, to the treatment of gender affirmative care by the Dutch healthcare system, which affects mostly working class and transgender people, non-binary and trans neurodivergent people. The treatment of LGBTQ+ refugees in the Netherlands by the IND links back to white Western colonial powers that have enforced strict binary gender and sex roles in their former colonies, who still uphold these values to oppress LGBTQ+ people. These former colonized governments are supported by Western governments, whom benefit from their oppressions to secure over the efforts to fight decolonization and anti-imperialism, and continue to extract resources and land through capital, and determine who is civilized and not recognize that identities intersect with queerness, so long as they uphold a Western liberal progressive facade, like Israel, who abuses pinkwashing to gain support of the West in their colonial crimes against all Palestinians, including LGBTQ+ Palestinians. We must not be seduced by Zionist propaganda to ignore the human rights negligence happening at large. Meanwhile, the far right has been gaining more influence around Europe. They have found themselves new allies, such as TERFs, like beloved children's author J.K. Rowling, to scapegoat transgender people, Muslims, and other marginalized peoples within our community for the failures of capitalism, the family union, and the gender binary, to pit us against each other and to convince us to join their ideology, to strip us of all class solidarity that unites us with other members of the working class and their policies, laws, and deceitful tactics. That's why we must remember queer liberation and trans liberation can only be enacted through Pride as a radical grassroots organization. and that these structures like capitalism, fascism, pinkwashing, and imperialism only seeks to divide us, exploit us, and attack the most marginalized. And through the working class, we can unite together and oppose those who threaten our freedom and self-determination to our bodies. Thank you.
Give it up for Momo, please.
Thank you, Momo, for the wonderful speech again. Thank you all for your energy. We're going to do something different now. For all of the people that have been lost through the years due to homophobia, racism, and other forms of discrimination, by being denied life-saving care, or people that have died because they could no longer live in this world because of how it treats them. We want to do 1 minute of silence, and I ask you all to be quiet for 1 minute and remember everyone that we lost. And we will starting that now. Thank you all. May the memory of everyone we lost be with us every day and give us strength to continue this fight.
Okay, let's do some chanting. Do that again, but louder. Okay. Do you all have a chant list? No. There are chant lists going around. You can approach one of the people with the yellow vests or share one with your neighbor, socially distant. Okay, we'll try some easy ones. Okay, follow me. We're here. We're queer. We're fabulous. Get used to it. We're here. We're fabulous. Get used to it. We're here. Louder. We're here. We're here. We're queer. We're here. We're queer. We're here. Feels good to say that, huh? Okay. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud. Say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Okay, we'll try something else. This is my favorite. So I need everyone's power. Hint, hint. Also the ones at the back, I'm not hearing you very well. Sorry, was that shady? Power to the people. Cause the people got the power. We're getting louder by the hour. Power! 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 Power to the people. Wow, okay. Can I give it up for you? Okay, maybe another fun one, and then we're ready for marching. If you're queer and you know it, clap your hands. If you're queer and you know it, clap your hands. If you're queer and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're queer and you know it, clap your hands. Okay, y'all can get up now. We're ready for marching, but we're coming back. Don't forget, there will be some final speeches. And there's a market afterwards. Don't forget that. And a picnic. But we'll talk about that later. Okay. Watch us. We'll start marching and form behind us, please. Also, if there's people that don't want to join the march, there's going to be some people left behind. So join them. Sorry, continue.
I'm going to announce you, and then you can do your... Welcome back, everyone! Are you feeling good after marching? Let me hear you! Are you ready to listen to some more speeches and poetry? Next up, we have Malika. Malika is part of the steering committee from the Groningen Feminist Network and an overall boss bitch. She is going to read her poems for us today. Let me hear you for Malika!
Hello. I'm a little bit nervous today. But I wrote a short poem. It's called I Like Pussy. Did you hear that she's a lesbian now? A dyke, a homo, a waste, pussy eater, muffin muncher, a little bit too fruity. You wouldn't leave her alone with your children now, would you? I've heard it all. I've seen it all. I've been pushed in the closet by it all. I shrunk myself down to accommodate them all. But I'm here today to shed all the shame you forced onto me, Dad. I am rejecting this life you planned out for me, Mom. Finally, at a place in my life where I can rejoice in the fact that I like pussy. I like pussy. And while your cis-het male friends keep calling me a waste just because I refuse to open my legs in their face so they can get a taste, I don't give a fuck what you have to say. Because for 400 years, y'all have been trying to have me erased. But with the power of my ancestors, I will never stop taking up my own space. For too long did you have me convinced that being a lesbian meant that I was a disgrace. Well, fuck that. I like pussy. And may I just say, pussy seems to like me back. Thank you.
Let me hear you for Malika! We have one more speech for you all. This is the speech by the Groningen Feminist Network, who is going to be talked by Evie and Lutza. Let me hear you for them and welcome them to the stage.
My voice is fucked because the megaphone was broken. Yeah, so you get to enjoy it now. Okay. Queerness for me has never been that much about who I sleep with or whatever the fuck is going on with my gender. It has been about community. It has been about the way we form family with each other, showing up when someone is sick, bickering with each other over unnecessary things, and retelling the same old stories over and over again. spending holidays, holding each other over a breakup, or 2, or 3, seeing each other so often that everything has always already been said. And think about, even when you meet another queer person, share your story and feel understood by them, even if their existence is totally different. We queers hold space for each other in a way that is special, and that's what queerness means for me.
At the age of 15, when I started questioning my sexuality, I was living in a small conservative town in Hungary. Back home, especially in that town, queerness was something you hide. It's something you keep behind closed doors. I didn't really have any queer friends or knew of others who were going through the same feelings I was. I was alone, isolated, and trying to figure things out. Thinking back, I would have loved to have a community. I would have loved to have people that were like me, that thought like me, that felt like me. It was when I moved here, when I found my queer family. I wasn't... I was suddenly exposed to so many more people that had similar experiences to me. I felt like I finally belonged. And that's what queer family means to me. This sense of belonging, that however different I may be, I am respected, accepted, and loved. Most importantly, however, knowing that I am not alone in this mess that is my sexuality.
The long history of queer family was first built on necessity and suffering to make up for families of origin who threw their children out into the street. Some of us still face this today. But many of those who do not seem to think that now there is no need anymore for queer family, or, for that matter, queer resistance. They think that now that some people can get married and that there are finally sandwiches on sale with a rainbow on it, we have gotten it all. But what have we truly gotten? And who has gotten it, really? Have you? Queer liberation has always to be thought with intersectionality in mind. When I say queers, I do not only mean white, homosexual, cisgendered men, though I mean them as well. When I say queers, I mean the whole diversity of our community. Everyone who is here in front of me right now. Queers who might be a person of color and or disabled and or a working class person, etc., etc., etc. When looking at this, we know that even if a select few of us are, this is double-sided, even if a select few of us are now better off than we used to be, the majority of queer people still struggle a lot because, but not only because of their queerness. Because of the multiplicities of oppression queers face, any serious attempt at queer liberation needs to fight against all oppressions. We need to fight white supremacy because black trans women are being killed. We need to fight ableism because disabled folks cannot marry without losing their benefits, even if they can marry for being queer. We need to fight capitalism because our rents are increased, we work long hours for other people's profit, and all the rights we fought for will be worth nothing if our planet is dying and we cannot enjoy them any longer.
Some people believe that queer liberation is over. Those of us who are in a more privileged position than others can sometimes live in a bit of a bubble. We assume that everything's fixed, everything is sorted, and that is simply not the case whatsoever. Some who forget that Pride was originally a protest and think it's just a fun party. This, in my opinion, is a closed-off and self-centered view because some who live in those bubbles refuse to fight for those that do not have the same privileges. Your rights are not only built on the shoulders of generations of queer activists who spent their entire lives fighting for the rights we have, but in some ways, your rejection of queer liberation means cutting solidarity with all those queer people who still need to fight for their rights.
It's not just very, very selfish, but I think people who reject radical queer liberation also just lose something themselves. They assume that queer resistance was only ever about making things a little bit more comfortable. They assume that queer resistance is an individual effort to live an okay and normal life. But queer resistance was never just about making a place for us in this world, but to transform this world, to end all forms of oppression and live together with joy and love. Rejecting this collective effort towards a better world means losing out on the chance to be truly happy as queer people, rather than just accepted and somewhat comfortable while other queer people are still suffering.
Sometimes, in small moments I share with my queer family, I catch a glimpse of what such a world could look like. Indeed, how silly it may sound, queer liberation is not just about being safe. Queer liberation is also about making a world where we can go and live out our cottagecore fantasies, where we can pursue our interests and be creative, where we have enough time to spend with each other and are no longer in a rush and constantly exhausted. Where we can love unconditionally because we feel safe enough to do so.
Queer liberation is to make that radical joy possible for everyone. Fighting for queer liberation, however, also means opening up that joy already today. When we take a stand together, we can experience a community that is truly in solidarity with each other, a community we can depend on. A community built on a shared goal rather than some sort of shared experience you need to assimilate yourself to. So, well, you should definitely join an activist group like the Groningen Feminist Network or Queer Pride Groningen for the sake of fighting against oppression. I will tell you, join a queer feminist activist group for the radical joy that comes organizing together with others to transform the world into a place where we can be happy.
Let's build a movement together. Let's build a queer family.
Which one? I can do one. Okay. So one more time. We're here. We're queer. We're fabulous. Get used to it. We're here. We're queer. We're fabulous. Get used to it. We're here. We're queer. We're fabulous. Get used to it. We're here. We're queer. We're fabulous. Get used to it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We give it up for Lutza and Evie one more time. Thank you. We want to do a final chant. I don't know if I'm able to. Will everyone join? I think this would be amazing if we could all join one more time. And it's my favorite, and I feel like maybe most of you know what's happening. If I go down a bit, everyone gets the memo? Wait, this is funny. I'll give you all a second. Okay, get ready. Anticapitalista. 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 for that.
How are you feeling? Keep that energy with you, because we have finished all our speeches, but Queer Pride Groningen is not over yet. First of all, we want to say thank you to everyone who made this possible. Thank you to all of the organizers. Thank you to everyone in the safety team. Thank you to all speakers and performers. Thank you for all volunteers. And thanks every one of you for coming here today. We see you and we hear you. Thank you for coming to this protest. Keep the fight going.
Quick question, who here has this as their first Pride? Wow, give it up for yourself real quick. What a moment. And this is not going to be your last Pride, because Queer Pride Groningen organizes every year. And it's the one and only queer, radical, grassroots, anti-capitalist, anti-pinkwashing Pride. Keep that in mind. Don't let this energy go to waste. All of you around you, these are all queer folks that can be part of your queer family. So to do that, you have to talk to each other and maybe sign up for an organization. Take this energy and do something with it. So we have a little activism fair, a mini activism fair organized for you. You can take this energy into these organizations because they depend on community. You can find all of those on those sites. And finally, GFN, the Groningen Feminist Network, is organizing a picnic. Maybe can someone tell me where it is again?
Okay, so we were gonna do a picnic, but the weather is shit, so we decided to do it indoors, and it will be at Kraaiennest, which, yes, thank you, Kraaiennest, and it's in the north of the center, and you can approach us at the stand, we can give you, or you can find it on Instagram, I believe. The address. There's going to be some food for everyone to share, but we're also happy if you bring something. And this is the place, you know, if you are looking like for a cute girlfriend, like this is probably where you need to go, you know. Yes, people are screaming, and we see, you know, it's all about demand and supply, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, the demand is there. Please come to the picnic. The supply's there too, I guess. I mean, I guess these things overlap, right? In this case. There's no scarcity, there's girlfriends for everyone. So, you know, don't get awkward, don't just go home, come and socialize with us. Everyone has social anxiety here, so we all get it. Let's go. Well, at what time?
It starts at 4:30. Well, the activism fair is going on now for a few minutes, so what time is it? That's wrong.
Let's just say it's no. Let's just say it's in a bit. Just come from there.
Let's say half an hour. Show up there in half an hour.
I just want to say the address. Hey, I just wanted to say the address also, because I'm from the Kraaiennest. And it's at Speelsluizen 9, so 9. Speelsluizen 9. And it's a squad, so that's kind of cool.
Dankjewel.
And if you don't know where Speelsluizen 9 is, it's at the Ossenmarkt. Maybe you know the Ossenmarkt? It's pretty close. It has like a big red and black flag in the front, so you can find it. Cool.